Hi guys, sorry I sound terrible. I'm super duper sick today, but I thought I would just give you guys a quick update. So if you're like me and living in Sydney, you're well aware that the Medieval Fair for 2025 was rescheduled and then cancelled due to bad weather. Super bummed out about it because I started working on a look and I thought I would just share it with you guys anyway because I spent a little bit of time on it. Look, I know it's not like era accurate, but like last year when I went, there were kids who literally went as Spider-Man and like every second guy was Shrek. So I just wanted to go with something fun and like ethereal, and this is the look I ended up on. Sorry guys, voiceover is also going to sound a bit sick, but this video is a week late, so I just had to get it out. So the first thing I did was I just found this corset on AliExpress. I think it was like $10, and I was going to use that as the base. The inspiration for the kind of corset look I was going for are like these pictures I found on Pinterest, and I sort of went from there. So the first thing I needed to do was add a brooch, and I was just deciding if I wanted it horizontal or vertical. So to get the draping pearl effect like on the Pinterest photos, I just bought a bunch of saltwater pearls, some fishing line, and strung them all together. In total, I used about 8 bags of pearls and was able to watch the whole movie A Knight's Tale. In the process of making this corset, I've actually lost a little bit of weight, so I had to pin it in around the darts areas just to take it in a little bit more. And then the next step was then actually adding the pearls on. So the technique I used was using a safety pin to hold it in place until I had this large jump rope of pearls, and then just playing around with it until I found like a nice draping pattern that sort of mimics the kind of look I was trying to do from those Pinterest photos. When I finally settled on placement, I was left with like this one last strand, and I couldn't really figure out what I was going to do with it. Ultimately, I ended up just cutting it so that it was like 2 long strings of pearls at the back. But as I was sewing the actual pearls to the corset, this is when disaster hit. I accidentally didn't tie a tight enough knot and all the pearls came out, so I had to re-adhere them again. Then just to add a little bit more dimension to the bottom of the corset, I added these teardrop pearls just to the base, so it sort of had more like a Tudor kind of vibe to it, I guess. So that's the corset finished. So the next thing we need to do is build the outfit. I found this skirt at a thrift shop for about $7 and it matched perfectly with the color. I also found this really cute inventory belt online, I think for like maybe $5, and I thought that just added like a nice little touch to it. What I hung from my belt was this cute little potions bottle, as well as this little clasp that you use to sort of hem your skirt, which feels a little bit more like era accurate. I also bought a shawl originally for this look because the event was supposed to be happening in winter and I didn't want to get too chilly. And finally was the headpiece. I know the headpiece is not very accurate, but it felt whimsical and I wanted to add it. And even though the fair was cancelled, I was really keen to get some outdoor shots of my outfit. Yeah, the weather was not playing fair today either. Yeah, but even though the event was cancelled, I was really proud of this look I pulled together. I did it on a shoestring budget and it was actually really fun. I'm really hoping that the event goes ahead next year because I will definitely be making another outfit with the learnt skills I have from this one. Alright guys, I gotta stop. There's a bunch of people doing construction literally across the street looking at me and it's so embarrassing. I'm literally walking home with my tripod and one of the construction guys just took a picture of me.